Hey there, and welcome back to On the Trail, short episodes answering common questions therapists and private practice owners have about websites, SEO, and online marketing as they grow their practices. I'm your host, Daniel Fava, founder of Private Practice Elevation. So there's one thing that I have been noticing lately. Many websites, many therapist websites, private practice websites that I'm taking a look at have the same gap. And there's no real logo, just the practice name typed in a nice font. So this seems like a very small detail, but I just want to make you aware that this actually carries a lot of weight and it's a little bit nuanced, and let's dig into this here. So that one small detail can really change how legit your site looks to that first time client in the first few seconds that somebody looks at your website. So today I'm going to cover what a logo actually does for your practice, the mistakes that most private practice owners make when they try to fix their logos, and what a good therapy logo really needs to pull off. So let's get into today's episode here. So here's what happens when a therapy website skips a logo. It looks a little unfinished, and that's even any website, really, not just a therapy website or a private practice website. As we go through the internet and maybe we're doing research, we're trying to find a business to work with, any business, not just therapy, a website, if you land on it and they don't have a logo, it feels a little bit unfinished. It feels a little bit unprofessional. So most therapists can really end up skipping the logo part, and they put it last on the list because it just maybe feels like a decoration. So it gets kind of half done. It's just, let's just put it in a font, put it up in the top left there, and call it a day. But a logo is actually a really large trust signal, and trust signals are becoming more and more important when it comes to converting new clients. And also with AI and Google, we want to really establish trust quickly with our websites. So what does a logo actually do for your site? When someone lands on your site, your logo tells them in about 3 seconds or less that they have found a real practice run by someone who pays attention to details. You've been established, you have a real logo, and this is a legit business. And that matters more than you think, because people aren't looking at just your site. They've maybe got 4 or 5 other therapists in different tabs open on their computer, and they're doing their research. They're looking at different sites, they're comparing. So a clear logo makes you one that they remember. It also ties everything together. Your website, your Psychology Today profile, your Google business profile, all the different directories that you have, all that really points back to the same recognizable identity. And so we want to make sure that your brand is established throughout all of the internet. And again, another trust signal for Google and for AI is to see that consistency throughout the internet. So the most common version that I see is that you have a practice name typed in a nice font. And so that's really just typography. That's just taking your name or the name of the practice, putting it into a font, kind of calling it a day. So what's the difference here? So a logo does a lot more. A logo pairs a mark or an icon, a color system, and a font into one set that works together. And the opposite mistake I see is just as common, that some owners, they spend a lot on maybe elaborate, over-designed logos before they have a consistent branding anywhere else. And so the fancy logo ends up sitting on a site that then maybe doesn't match it. And so a logo really sits within a brand guide, a way of talking about your practice to your ideal clients. And this is one thing that we are doing now in Private Practice Elevation with our digital trail map sessions, is putting together those brand guides so that we clearly understand the ideal client that we're trying to reach with all of your content and design and logo, as well as how does your practice sound and present itself in the world. So that's a logo lives within that ecosystem, which involves understanding all those different aspects I just mentioned. So what does a good therapy logo actually need? A good therapy logo does 3 things here. It stays simple enough to work as a tiny icon and large as a header image. It works in a single color, so you can print it on black and white and still read it. And it also matches the tone of your practice. A trauma-focused practice and a couples intensive practice, they serve different people. So those logos are likely going to be different. And so if you're kind of wondering okay, my logo is just typography. First of all, I want to say that I understand that there's phases to this. There's always things that we can do to improve our website, improve our online marketing, and how our brand shows up. And if you're just starting out, or maybe you're still in that 1 to 3 years space, it's okay. It's okay if you just have a typography, with your name on your website. I'd rather you have that than just a blank space there, obviously. But I want you to know that getting a logo, it doesn't have to be really elaborate. It doesn't have to be really expensive. You don't need a full brand overhaul to replace a logo. A simple word mark, a consistent color palette, and one supporting icon, that's going to cover you, 90%. And this is, like I said, this is the kind of thing that we are now focusing on with our digital trail map session, because we're getting all these details down before we even move to design of a logo. But there's different places that you can go out there. I know that some people have found freelancers on Upwork, and you can get a logo created. There's a place that I know that we've used many times in the years past. It's called 99designs.com, where you can get a very affordable logo created with real designers. And what I like about 99 Designs, hopefully things haven't changed, I haven't checked their website in a while, so I'm just putting that out there, is that you get to let them know what inspires you. You get to let them know about your business, and you will get a number of designers giving you ideas for your logo as a starting point. And then you say, I like that direction. I'm going to work with that designer and let's refine it. And I know that their pricing is actually quite good. I know some people have also gotten great logos from freelancers on Etsy, so it doesn't have to be this really big $1,000 brand overhaul, for your practice. So I just want you to know that. So here are just like our key takeaways to kind of sum this up. So number one, a logo is a trust signal. Treat it that way from the start. It's important. A practice name in a nice font is typography. A logo is a mark, color, and font working as a set, working within your brand ecosystem. Test any logo in black and white. If it still reads, it's solid. So you want to make sure that you are able to shrink your logo down for, business cards and stuff like that. And also on your website, you also want to be able to blow it up and, do full color. Maybe you want to get it printed on a sign. And then lastly, small and consistent beats expensive and over designed. So there you have it. Just wanted to bring that up because I'm seeing that in websites that we're reviewing, potential clients coming through, wanting to work with us. And I've seen that a lot of folks don't have their logo established. And again, I understand that sometimes you just really need to hang your shingle and you need to get it out there. And I'm a huge fan of that. As you really establish your business, and logo is a huge trust signal. So doing that sooner rather than later is going to really pay off for you. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. Really appreciate it. If you need help with your online presence, if you need help with logos, we do have a great designer and we are starting to do more of these logos for our clients. You can head over to privatepracticeelevation.com/kickoff to learn a little bit more. We work. So thank you so much for listening. Now go elevate your practice.